like one of those fears that I've got when I'm on a boat, because I just think you could just disappear, or anybody could just throw you off, couldn't they?
I don't like the idea of, cause the odd time we've had friends that have been on a cruise now and they loved it, but I just think they're different people to me and Charlotte. And Charlotte said, "What do you think about that?"
Yeah.
Why? You're just stuck with a load of people. Imagine if you just, once you're on it, you're stuck, aren't you?
Yeah, you are stuck. I mean, I suppose they're that big, it'll probably feel like there's quite... I don't know,
It is like a
moving
moving city.
Yeah, it is.
But then...
And I guess it's
the Trafford Centre's big. Doesn't mean I want to spend a week there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
It's like... and getting dressed up for dinners and all that kind of thing. I just want to put some flip-flops on and shorts and do what I want when I'm on holiday, not...
And going for a run, like, out, because that's a big part of our holidays, isn't it? Like, what do you do? Just run around the deck? I suppose you'd have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, a treadmill, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure I could do that for a week.
Yeah, so cruises aren't for me, mate.
I did read in the news that there was this, like, old couple who'd, instead of paying for a care home, they just booked cruises.
I saw that. They've been on a continuous cruise.
Yeah, and they've been doing it for years, haven't they?
There's a couple of Yanks as well that they paid... They basically put their life savings into it, and they got a lifetime pass.
All right, that's quite a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah, I think because there's been a couple
like
that did it with like first class flights as well, didn't they, when they first started coming in? And they paid X amount, and they've been rinsing it ever since.
Good idea, that.
Yeah, imagine being stuck on a cruise for, I don't know.
I mean,
I'd rather do it with a hotel somewhere.
I think if you're a certain age, it'd be good, wouldn't it? Because you wouldn't be as active as what I suppose we are, and you probably wouldn't do as much. You'd just be like sleeping and eating, wouldn't you? And
that's true, but then you'd be a fat fuck. You'd just be rolling from one.
I'd be a fatter fuck. I mean,
I
at that stage of your life,
twice a week.
at that stage of your life, you're probably just like, I don't know. Enjoying it, aren't you?
Yeah,
you don't mind
not enjoying. That's going backwards for me. Yeah. Plus, you might bump into Jane McDonald, which is my worst nightmare.
yeah. She's on every cruise. She's tied in. Maybe she's signed a similar contract, but to work every cruise ship like a season ticket.
I think I'd rather be on that fucking
shit one.
The shit boat for a week. Stuck on there for a week.
I'd love to know how much they paid though. I bet they saved loads of money. I did it a few years ago with the Fell Running magazine. I joined as a lifetime member 15, 20 years ago.
What was that, 10 quid?
Yeah, it's 90, but I reckon I'm interested to know how much money I've saved so far. I reckon it's at least 50 quid.
Easy.
I mean, that's quite a lot in my world.
It's not quite the same as a lifetime pass on the cruise ship, is it?
I suppose we better get straight into it, haven't we?
Yeah.
I thought today, Gary, we could talk about recent things that have happened in trail running, like recent events. Obviously, I did a race last week, but by the time this goes out, it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks ago. So bear with us, people. I know that we're trying to cover recent events as quickly as we can, but there's always a delay in filming, isn't there? And when things go live, maybe it's like a nice prelude to next year's races at the same time.
Yeah,
it's probably closer to them now, isn't it?
Good to catch up with what we've been up to outside of, in running world, isn't it? Because it's summer, and like we said last time, it moves quite fast.
Oh, it goes quick. Let me just do the quick intro. So, welcome to the RUNcensored podcast with me, Ben Mountey, and Gary House. As mentioned, we're going to cover recent events in trail running today and bits and bats about what me and Gary have been up to. I had a few news stories as well that I'd saved, so I saw a few things on Instagram that I thought would be good talking points. But let's start with what you've been up to, Gary. What have you been doing?
Yeah, it's been a good few weeks, I think. We've had mixed weather, haven't we, all over the place, but last week was pretty good weather-wise. Been out on the bike a little bit more, like outdoors on the bike, not just swifting. I had a problem with my pedals that have been putting off since last summer. Yeah, and it's just resulted in just buying new pedals.
Was that the diagnosis? Yeah.
I tried to fix it twice, and by the time I got like 2 minutes down the road, I could still... I won't go into it anyway. There's something wrong with the pedals, which, as you know, if you clip it in and out, especially on the gravel, you don't want to have a problem with the pedals. So, yeah, unfortunately, I'd bought cheap the first time round, There you go. Yeah. Spent all my money on a bike, and then you buy cheap pedals. I've just bought good pedals now, so straight on. They work perfectly. Yeah. They should have done that. It's like we were talking about people that spend 200-300 quid on running shoes these days, and want to find the cheapest socks for 2 quid, and wonder why they get a blister or something.
Buy cheap, pay twice, eh?
That's it.
That's the moral of the story.
Yeah. So I've been out on that more. I've been training more. Had my first proper Snowdonia outing, like on my own, no dog. So it was a better reflection of where I'm at, not 1,000 pit stops.
What did that involve then? Did you just go up Snowdon a few times, or did you do
a
linear route?
Don't go near there in the summer, if I'm honest. It's I go to Ogwen Valley, and it's like 2 years ago is where it's on the same climb, Trivan, like the Paddy Buckley line. It's like 40% climb. So it's steep, and it's where I felt the first bit of discomfort in my back 2 years ago.
I remember you saying.
Yeah. So I went back to that. It's like an old route, faithful route. I do that and a mountain called Agarn, down through Devil's Kitchen, and then.
I've raced on Agarn before. It was a British Champs race. Sure.
It'll be a different Agarn. There's 2 Agarns.
Okay,
yeah. This one's the better one because it's quieter. It's the one straight out of Ogwen, but it's not 1,000 meters, but it's not far off.
No.
So you can get that. I've done that with friends in the past, and you get there early, up and down that, and you can go up and down it twice, and it's as close as I'm going to get to, these races out in France and Italy and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a good test, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Trivan's such a beautiful mountain as well, isn't it?
And it depends how long you want to spend. So like you can go from Trivan and then over to the Glidders.
Yeah.
It's just big bouldery kind of, and unless you want to specifically train on that, I'll avoid that because it's just, you're wasting too much time, to be honest, for not the vert. So it's just technical ground in terms of boulders. So I just go up and down a few times, different mountains. Glider Vow is a good one to go up, not the traditional path, and it was good.
Feeling good then?
Have you found with Strava though? I don't know if going off track here, like. I was happy with what I did. It took me over 3 hours 15, right? And that's that's no stops. I had 1 pit stop, I remember. So no stops, but you're obviously not moving fast. Took 3 hours 15, 3 hours 20 to get back to the car. 1,400 meters of elevation.
Decent, man.
Right, so I was happy, but then when it spits out on Strava, it was like 2 hours 35.
Oh, really?
Right, so it's obviously that's your moving time.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're trying to. I don't know how to change that without putting it to a race.
I always wonder as well. Like, I don't know what watch you've got, but sometimes it differs between watches. Like, I think if you're traveling, and George sort of mentioned this on the episode we did with him, if you're going at quite a slow pace on a VK, for example, it almost thinks you've stopped.
That's
and
it.
I think
it must be. It's took out
whatever watch you've got on.
Time.
Yeah, it takes that off.
So
my Coros seems to be pretty accurate.
So obviously, for me to do that run in 2.5 hours makes me look like a lot better than I.
Did your fitness level go up on Strava then?
I don't know. It will do because it just goes up every time you do something.
What did the little caption, the AI caption say? Like, fast-paced blistering run or something like that.
I can't remember what it was, but it started dropping in your location and stuff now, hasn't it? Pushing your limits across at Erie. It even dropped in the Welsh.
Did it?
Snowdonia, yeah.
Bonus points for that. That'll go down well with the Welsh.
Yeah, I think Matt Ward must be on the AI.
Roberts. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, talks everywhere else. He'll be the AI, won't he?
Yeah.
It's definitely not Hugh because it made sense.
Brilliant.
It's good to see you back. So I've got Top Dret in September.
Yeah.
I'm committing to just training, not as hard as I can because I don't want to break myself, but I'm committing to doing proper mountain sessions and stuff, whether I'm slow or what, and just see where I'm at in September. Because I just can't keep moaning about the injury, can you? It's like, I think it's just part of where I'm at. So the good thing is though I've been able to push a bit more in training. So I'm just going to commit to it for 10 weeks and see where I'm at. Hopefully I'm in a better place than I was Gran Canaria, or I'll come unstuck.
I suppose you had to start somewhere with Gran Canaria, didn't you? And it's good to see you out doing like consistent, decent mileage. I've been looking at Strava, and also I've been seeing your videos on Instagram as well. So you've been
I can go for a run now and push a bit more. And I think some of it has been like not I don't want to talk behind his back, but Eric the dog, like, you take him, it's not like my old dog Fergie. She would literally just run by my side wherever you went until she slowed down. Eric just fucking stops for a piss every 5 seconds, and he's sniffing around. It's full stop, like. So it's not, I've got running harness on, and it's all of a sudden you're getting pulled off left, right, and centre.
Sounds a bit like Pete. How often do you spend with a bag of shit in your hand as well? Because I reckon it's 80% of the time.
He only does shits either in the back garden or in the dog field. Yeah.
That's pretty good. You train him to do that? Yeah.
Not trained him, but I think that's all. That was his only option when I couldn't walk.
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's in
a routine.
Yeah, which is quite good, to be honest. To the point where I forget to take poo bags if I'm on a run, but he's never done it yet. But yeah, he's it's good. Yeah, I know you've been racing. I've got no races to talk about, and won't have until we go to Chamonix.
Yeah, mate, I've been racing like mad. I reckon since we did the Calderdale Way episode, I think I've done 8 races. Like half of those, or maybe 3 or 4 have been orienteering races. 2 or 3 have been Bofra races, so short, sharp ones. I've done an English Champs. I've done the recent one, which is the half marathon at the Marathon de Mont-Blanc weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. I mean, I suppose I also wanted to recap on some of the big stories that happened, like just on the trail running scene. And the big one is one of the big 3 is Western States, isn't it? We won't spend too long on it because it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago now by the time this comes out. But it is always the kind of first of the big 3, as it were, because you've got Hard Rock, which is coming up, coming in hot, isn't it? And also there's UTMB, obviously.
How big do you think Hard Rock is compared to the other 2 if you're not in that, if you've not been in trail running for the past 10, 15, 20 years?
I still think it's number 3 on that, of the big 3, but I think it's number 3 of the big 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay.
And Hard Rock is all about the kind of altitude and the climbing, isn't it? Whereas Western States is a real runner's course, isn't it?
It is, but it is, I think, especially with the more footage coming in, it is obvious how it's not easy, but no. I think people thought it was the easier one out of UTMB and some of the others. It looks tough, doesn't it?
It does look tough. It's always hot, isn't it, as well? I mean, Caleb Olsen stole the show, didn't he, with winning? And also that, did you see what he was wearing? He had that crazy Nike ACG top.
Yeah, like one of your nan's doilies.
Yeah.
I remember going to my grandma's house, and there was a couple of those tops just cut up onto the.
Even you, mate. She was like obviously like revolutionary then, wasn't she? She predicted the future.
Yeah, before she popped off, I could have got her to make me a few. I think.
Stuck a label on it, and ACG label. He could have made a fortune. My mum, by the way, she does loads of like knitting and crocheting and sewing. She's like anything crafty, she's into. She's really good. She said she'll make you one for
happy days.
Your big race.
Yeah.
So you let me know the colour. My mum listens to this as well, so she'll be already like picking out the samples and she'll buy the fabrics for you.
It'd be like a bag of kiwi fruit with my little jabs and just hairs popping out. Not really Caleb Olsen stuff.
I mean, I don't know if everyone's seen what Caleb Olsen was wearing. I'm assuming people who are well into the trail running have, but if you've not and you want to see a picture of it, Chris, can we do that thing where we pop like a picture up on the YouTube of the... I'll find you a picture of Caleb Olsen. No, just for those people watching on YouTube, save you having to do a search, we'll pop a picture up in the on the video for you. But it was a crazy top, like a white top, so obviously it's like reflecting the sun. But I
don't get it.
Well, I spoke to Gavin, who's our marketing buyer for Nike and Adidas at Sports Shoes, and he said he's actually seen that top at a Nike event. He said he's actually not that light because
it's not light because it was bouncing around with a bit of weight, wasn't it?
It looked
like it held the water.
They go through water as well. They cross rivers, don't they? So it's getting absolutely soaked.
You're getting soaked from checkpoint 1, aren't they?
Yeah.
Really, but
I mean, it must work though because he obviously won it.
Well, it was a throwback to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had like remember Scott Jurek with his cut off vest top and stuff like that. Walmsley kind of brought that look back, cutting off his like a crop top essentially, wasn't it? And I get it. And then this one is almost. I wonder if it is a pure fashion statement more than because these days, like I've been sent tops recently and stuff, and it's like heat repellent or whatever, and it doesn't hold the water or anything like that. So I think technology has moved on, but that seems to just be a throwback. Maybe it is a fashion thing.
You get a crazy tan from that as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like Rob C. Nesbitt.
I know they that the same at Lavredo, they were wearing those as well.
Were
Nike,
they?
Yeah.
Okay,
At Nike
interesting.
athletes had them on
Yeah.
there as well.
For
Definitely
me, it
a
looked like it
statement.
was too big for him. It looked like it would like move around, and I would have thought that would chafe and
You
stuff.
don't want it skin tight, do you? It looked
Yeah.
like a butcher's shop window.
Well,
I mean, it didn't look
it
great
looked like something
anyway,
like
did
Lou
it?
and Andy would wear, wouldn't it? On Little
Yeah,
Britain.
yeah. It actually is very much like Lou and Andy.
Yeah, Rapsy Nesbitt style over here, wouldn't it?
Definitely. But, I mean, I think that's
Imagine a load of them bombing around Lakeland on 50 or something in the mid-pack.
I think that...
No offence to the mid-pack of Lakeland 50. I'm just saying, it's a different look.
It is a
than
different look. But
going through the canyons.
I believe we are going to retail it, I think. That's what I've heard. So, I mean, that'll be interesting to see how well that sells. It's an acquired taste, isn't it? Would you wear one, Gary?
I'd wear one if it was sent out to me. Yeah.
I know who would wear one.
Go on.
Rich Gill would.
Rich Gill will be all over that one. He'll be all over it. Oh my God. Richard had one in every colour. In fact, I'm going to get my mum to make Rich one as well, because he would definitely
You'd
make
have the
use of
matching shorts.
that. They'd have to be tight though, wouldn't they? But yeah, I mean, what a crazy outfit. But it obviously worked because he won the race, and my mate Kilian, 3rd place, which I'll be honest, I thought was outstanding, you know, because he's done Western States once before, he's won it once before, but it was an hour and 15 minutes.
15 years ago or something.
Yeah, it was an hour and 15 minutes quicker this year
Yeah.
than when he won it, and he was 3rd this year, but he was closing in on the top 2 in the latter stages of the race. But I mean, that course...
People sit in different camps, don't they? They
Yeah.
think they either think brilliant for going out there and not being one of the ones that pulled out and stuff and putting himself out there, which might not be his most suited course. And then you've got the other lot that are saying, like, almost like he failed.
Yeah, he's always going to be under fire, isn't he, Kilian? If he's not winning races, they're always going to be saying he's done. But
like you said, 3rd at Western States in one of the fastest years you've seen, an hour quicker than he was 15 years ago. I think we'd all take that.
Oh, 100%. And Kilian's strengths are, I mean, he's an all-rounder. We know that, distance-wise, terrain-wise, all kinds of running. But he is an out-and-out climber and descender. And that is, as we've said, I know there's climbing on it, but it's a runner's course out of the 3, isn't it? You put him on a UTMB or hard rock. And I think there's nobody who's going to live with him for climbing. Only Jim Walmsley can climb with Kilian at the moment. So I think that's a brilliant time and a brilliant position. So he's not done yet, is he?
No. And I don't know what he's doing next. To be honest, but it'd be good to. Do you know what? It'd be good to see him go off the back of a course like that to see how it translates to the mountains, like a proper big mountain race. I don't think he is at UTMB. I don't know if he's done there, but
yeah,
if he went to a UTMB after Western States, which I know a lot of the time people can't do, but yeah, running a fast time on a more runnable course to the mountains would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be.
Because he used to smash himself, didn't he? Do big mountain.
Yeah.
He'll have something up his sleeve, no doubt.
I think so. And as well, he's
got
done
new shoes to promote, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. The Sherag 2 are coming out this, so yeah, he'll be wearing. In fact, I think he did wear those actually.
Yeah.
But also the week before he'd done the Broken Arrow VK, I think, hadn't he? And he'd had a bad run. I think he was either ill or he picked up some kind of cold on the plane. It said he was way down the field for him.
I didn't see, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think he was 100%. So, and he's not got much time to recover, to be honest, has he? So I think that 3rd place is incredible.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Abbey Hall as well for winning the women's. That was quite a close
Women's race
as well.
was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, very close.
Fee Pascal finishing strong.
Yeah.
For 5th. I think, yeah, it was...
She's some runner, isn't she? It's good to see.
Yeah, because it was so competitive, that women's race, and I think she did. Obviously, I haven't spoke to her about this, but I think she did well because she was sitting around 12th, 11th, and then to just have the confidence that she would move up, or hoping that she would move up, just by way of the women at the start were so close together, weren't they?
Yeah.
Running really fast together. It was good. It's great to see at Western States. But yeah, she did well to finish 5th.
I think they cover these races so well as well now. You know, your feed is just taken over, isn't it? Completely. When the weekend of the race, it's just everywhere.
Seeing such as, like, obviously a small glimpse of, like when Centurion do it for South Downs Way, trying to do a live feed for 24 hours plus or 40 hours or whatever, to see how Western States do it. It's just, I don't know how you other races that could do that outside of Western States and UTMB in terms of pulling numbers and the amount of people on the course involved. Yeah, I don't know how else you could do that other than those 2 races, probably.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's it captures everybody's attention. It's just everywhere. I mean, I'll be honest. The race I was at, the Marathon de Mont-Blanc, that's now sponsored by New Balance. So I was out with sports shoes and New Balance. I thought they did a great job with the comms as well. I mean, again, that seemed to be everywhere as well, not just on the main channels, but the people that were there. I felt like almost everybody I knew was either there or at Western States.
Is that part of, I lose track, is that part of a series these days or anything?
Well, it's an event just like UTMB in the sense that you've got the 90k, you've got the VK, you've got the marathon distance, the half marathon, and a 10k. So
it's not like Golden Trail.
No, it's just like it's a one-off kind of event. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was probably where UTMB was a few years ago in terms of how many people were doing it. I thought it was a manageable number, and also it felt good in Chamonix to walk around. It didn't feel like too chaotic. UTMB's just got huge now, hasn't it? And when I go there every year, I feel like equal love and hate for it. I feel a lot of anxiety when I'm walking around Chamonix because it's just so busy. But this was like a nice
queues
visit.
of selfies.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Or asking where Gary is. That's usually what it is. But no, I really enjoyed the event. I thought New Balance and Marathon de Mont-Blanc got it perfectly right with everything that they did, really.
That's that's been on my list for so long, to the point where I had an entry the year the world went upside down with lockdowns or whatever. I think it was I had an entry or had an injury or something, and I managed to defer it. And then that's right. So I deferred the entry. Then we're in lockdowns, and it got shifted. So I think I had an entry for that for like 3 or 4 years. No joke, because you had like a 2-year window, didn't you? And I never took it in the end. Yeah, so I had an entry for like 3 years and never went for one reason or another. So I'll have to go back at some point. It's interesting at New Balance until you went over, I didn't realise, because I think Marathon de Mont Blanc, it was like a big event on the calendar.
Yeah.
And then I think it went quiet for a few years. Maybe it's to do with sponsors or whatever. And then this year again, seemed like everyone was involved again. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely been a resurgence. I mean, they sold out of all the races. There was 10,000 people running across the weekend, and almost 2,500 people in each of the big races, which is huge, isn't it? But it felt like it was just enough and just right. There's also, by the way, a paired race which sets off at 7:00 in the evening on the Saturday, and it runs up to the Mer de Glace from Chamonix, and then across Grand Balcon Nord, and then down to complete back into Chamonix to complete almost a half marathon loop. But you do it with head torches at night, and well, I suppose the front runners are probably in before it gets dark, but that is a spectacular route anyway. That's like one of my go-to routes when I go to Chamonix. But you run as a pair, which I quite like the concept of. So maybe one day we could do that together.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one to do.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, really nice. In fact, if I'd have got my act together this year...
finish your breakfast?
Yeah. I would have done it with Steve Vernon this year, but we couldn't get a place in the end because he was in the VK and the 10K, and I was doing the half. So... in fact, he did really well in both as well. He's some runner, Steve Vernon. He's absolutely class. He's still class. He won the vet category in both. Actually, we did all right for the vets because I was second in the vets for the half as well. When I say half marathon, it was one of those races which seems to be like every time I race in Europe, they say it's a 23k, but it's really closer to 25. I'm not joking, Gary. Like the last K and a half of that race, I'd basically run my race to that distance, and I was just dead, mate. Like I was crawling in.
What kind of time is it taking you so people can?
2:42 I ran in the end, which it's not
no, but
game changing, but it's
a good run, and people will understand then. Like it's not like Ben's running it at a half in 75 minutes. It's you're out for a decent amount of time, so fueling and heat and all that comes into play, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's 30-degree heat pretty much, and the climbing, I think there's 1,700 metres, so the back end of the race especially, you're climbing up to La Flégère and then up to Plan Praz, which is above Chamonix, it's top of the ski lift, top of the VK. So you're finishing higher than what you started, so there's obviously like more elevation than, in fact there's hardly any descending. So as a route, it sort of probably doesn't really suit my strengths because I just love descending. There's a really nice technical section in it, but essentially it's a climbers race, and the first 7 miles is just really fast. So you've got to kind of rein it in. So I felt like I had a good run. Second vet overall, and I was 65th in the race, which when I tell people, they're just like, 65th, that sounds pretty shit. But then I looked at the results, and people like Zach Hanna and Dan Connolly and Bertie Houghton, none of them broke the top 30. So, and like Bertie's just got in the GB team. I mean, he'll probably say he had a bad run, but for all three to come in, between 30 and 35th place, that to me says something about the quality and the standard of people running. And that was going to be one of the other points as well, is that I feel that the game's changed quite significantly the last few years, in that when you go to these big events now, you've got pro athletes running. Young pro athletes who are on big contracts, big money. They're coming out as a team. I think the standard and the quantity of these runners now at these big races is off the scale. You look at that top 50 and it's something else.
You've got lots of new brands coming up.
Yeah.
You've got the old established brands with teams. Then you've got the likes of, like, if you just said to me 10 years ago, New Balance are sponsoring Marathon de Mont-Blanc, you'd laugh, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because you'd think road shoes and stuff like this. So yeah, the competition is high, and the competition for them it's worth it, I think, because they send a team and it's endless content
definitely
out there, isn't it?
It's almost like Formula One or cycling now, where you've got these pro teams turning up with depth within the team as well. You look at some of the runners that New Balance have signed now.
I'd love to see that. Like a race, with these race series that they have, whether it's World Trail Majors or UTMB or something, and have like team standings as well.
Yeah,
that'd be quite.
It would be quite cool, actually. That's not something that they've explored yet, is it? But
not
I think
really.
It would be good. Yeah,
and it's you could obviously you could have. Yeah, and you could have like promotion and relegation and all that.
Yeah, you could actually. Yeah, it would be good. You could have a top tier, couldn't you? Yeah,
couldn't you?
Yeah, it'd be another interesting like concept to it. I think it probably will go that way as well, won't it? I'm sure. The more that it does continue to grow. Also, noticed the last few years there's been a real surge of sort of African athletes coming into the sport, which was always going to happen. You see it on the track, you see it on the road, dominating in the distance. But that's just starting to happen. Now there's more money in the sport as well. A lot of the teams are growing. As you said, there's new teams coming on, but the African runners are putting down some serious times. But that said, you've got some quality European athletes and global athletes who are competing with them as well. Davide Magnini, who is a New Balance athlete, won the marathon distance, and he came through the field, paced it perfectly. He was in 7th halfway at Vallecine, and a few of the front runners, including one of the Africans, had gone off really quick, and he came through the field and won, which was great to see, because it's not like the African runners are excuse the pun, running away with it. It's very competitive at that top end.
I quite like watching the African runners run as well. Like this bit of a sweeping statement, but that it's quite raw still. So like you say, race tactics and stuff. That's still how we would all have to learn, isn't it? But so they quite often go off quite hard, and they're so talented as runners. You're like, oh my god, like watching them run up a hill or something is insane, and then watching them suffer is equally as entertaining. Not for them, but it is, isn't it? It's
true, and I think it's learnings for a lot of the runners who are just coming into the sport, perhaps, because it is a different sport to run on the track and on the road, and it's good to see, because they're always running off the front.
Because if you were brought up in these mountain races in Italy and France and stuff, you just kind of know your racecraft a little bit more in the mountains, don't you? At that top level, like at Transgrancanaria, where Puppy come in the last 500-600 meters, that kind of thing.
One of the best race finishes you'll ever see.
And that excitement is
tactically got it right, didn't he? I mean, Puppy is dominating the trail scene, isn't he, at the moment? He's just got it right. He knows how to race. It was beautiful to watch that, wasn't it? What a finish.
Yeah,
very exciting. I mean, I think
I like the fact we've quickly just glossed over Western States.
Yeah. Sorry, I knew we weren't going to sort of spend too much time on it. It happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But.
Yeah. Just so who won? Let's do winner, male and female. I think everyone knows, but Caleb Olsen,
Abby Hall,
and Abby Hall. Yeah, Caleb Olsen, obviously was at Transgrancanaria as well.
Yeah, he won the classic race, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just in front of John Albon and Josh Wade, so he's a man in form, isn't he? At the moment?
So he's had a good year already. And then Marathon de Mont-Blanc. Do you know winners?
Yeah, so Davide Magnini, who I mentioned, won the main race, which is the marathon distance, and I don't know her name, but one of the Kenyan athletes won the women's quite convincingly as well. She was way in front of me, I might add as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously there were a lot of racing that weekend. It started off with the 90k as well, which again a New Balance athlete won as well. So I think as a brand, New Balance not only sponsored the race but turned up and dominated the races as well. A lot of their athletes performed really well, like Alberto Vendera, for example. He was in the top 5 in my race. Yeah, I mean, I won't go through the winners of all the races.
It'd be interesting to see then, because like I say, outside, I'd seen David Manini.
Yeah.
I'd seen he'd gone to New Balance. Outside of that, I hadn't really seen. So, be good to, like, are they going to turn? Have they got like 100 milers and stuff for UTMB, or are they still at that kind of marathon 50k mark? I
think they've got a team. They've got some strength in depth of New Balance. They've got some really good male and female runners. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see next few years. I think they've thrown a lot of money at trail in terms of sponsorship, races and their athlete team. And I was chatting to the product guys as well. I think over the next couple of years, you're going to see some pretty amazing shoes coming out of New Balance. I don't think they're quite there yet, but they've got a good selection now. Like the Hiero's basically like a speed goat, if you were to kind of position it. But I think they need a fast end racing shoe. They're going to develop the Rebel a bit more as well, which is one of their fast road shoes. So like all brands, they're bringing all the road technologies into trail. And yeah, I think the next couple of years, I think 2027, they were saying that's probably where they want to be. That's going to be their next big, I suppose, moment, I'd say. So they're making a big play for the trails. And I tell you what as well, you heard of Kailas Fuga, the Chinese brand? Yeah. That's becoming quite a big brand
anyway,
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they're huge in Asia
and stuff. But when you watch UTMB race events and stuff, there's always anything outside of the UK. You see them quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And I'm starting to see more and more of their shoes now as well. And then you've obviously got the likes of Normal as well in there. So outside of the main traditional trail running brands, you've got some big players coming in. It's going to be an interesting space to watch, I think, the next few years, how the sport changes even more and develops. So
what else have you raced then? Or
well, I've done a couple of orienteering races. It's gone downhill since my debut, mate. If I'm not going to lie to you, I thought after that first initial snooker win, I was going to dominate the local scene. But yeah, I've not won a race since. I had a shocker as well the other night. I did this one. It was more of a fun social event called Questo. So it was like a quiz within an orienteering race. So essentially you had a map the same as what you'd normally get, and then you'd go to the first checkpoint, and then you'd have to solve a riddle and work out where to go next to the next checkpoint. I'm not joking, mate. I couldn't even solve the first puzzle. Like, I'd still be there now if it wasn't for other people that were there.
Like Crystal Maze?
Like Crystal Maze, but like miles harder. My IQ levels were just not cut out for this race. So I got to the first checkpoint after that number one where I thought I should have been, and then if you went to the wrong one straight away, it turned you around and said it was a dead end. So I got that dead end notification straight away. So it took me 35 minutes to get to the next checkpoint from number one. By that point, mate, I was like way down, and I didn't have enough fingers and toes to work out the mathematical problems that were on these checkpoints. It was far too hard for me.
Yeah, stick to chasing Pokemons.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to stick to that. So yeah, I mean, it's been a mixed bag with my orienteering races. It's not put me off, but lots to learn, I think.
I'm not in it. I'm not in running for using my brain like that at the same time. I can see the enjoyment for some people, but yeah,
it was beyond me.
Yeah. Go on.
Did the English Champs as well, though. That was a good race. That was down the road from me in Kettlewell. That was the fourth race I'd done on that kind of, I suppose, hill, really. Yeah, like, either side I've raced. So there's been a Bofra, there's been a June Off Trails series race that I did a 12k, and then the other side of the hill, another Bofra, and then the English Champs, all within 2 weeks. So I've sort of been racing myself fit, and I didn't have a bad run, to be honest. I've been getting fitter with every race. So yeah, I'm a bit like you, Gary. I'm sort of getting back into it, although my Achilles is about to fall off.
Is it?
Oh my God, yeah. I need to get it sorted. Kirsty's already injured with her Achilles, and I'm going to be joining her soon if I don't get it sorted, because, I don't know if you've got any advice for me. Not running, probably.
No, you can keep running, usually. The hills won't do too good for it. Depends where the issue, I guess. But, yeah, the old adage is load caused the issue, so you have to load it up. So some heavy calf raises, I think, mate.
Yeah, I have to just get on that and
get on a few of them.
Maybe do a bit of a warm up as well. I usually just sort of run straight from the door. I'm always like chasing time, so maybe I just need to spend a bit of time stretching and warming up, perhaps. And yeah, it takes a bit longer these days, doesn't it? So you want to get going a bit as soon as you get out there. Yeah, I don't like moaning about injuries when I'm sat with you, because I know you've been through the mill. Really, this is just a tiny thing.
Achilles they're annoying, because once you feel it, it's like it's going one way or the other, and you're trying to manage it, and sometimes you manage it for months and months and months.
Yeah.
But it depends. But I don't think you should just stop running altogether as well, because it needs that load a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Get a man, Paul Turney or someone to.
Yeah, I might have to go and see Tierney actually. What I've been sort of struggling with the most is probably the climbing, because you're sort of running on the front of your feet, aren't you, when you're climbing? And I just feel like I'm running with one leg at the moment. I've lost so much power from that left leg where the Achilles is pretty sore.
Yeah.
And I'm just like flat footing upwards on that side of things, and it's really hampering performance.
After this, show me a couple of bent leg calf raises and see where you get to it, because it depends where your Achilles is aching. Some people will have it on like the insertion down at the heel, some people will have it higher, which is up near your calf and stuff. So if your calf's got a bit of a strain or something, it'll affect there. So it's like, right, okay, which calf raises should I aim for, and then just get heavy with it. Yeah. Sometimes that'll clear it.
Oh, good, mate. Yeah, well, I'll show you that afterwards. I mean, I thought I'd mention it because I'm sure that people listening to this at some point will either struggle with their Achilles.
Don't start asking me about Achilles, because when I do these Q&As on Instagram, it's always like, I've got an Achilles problem, a calf problem, a knee problem. It's like, I'm not a physio. 2, how am I meant to know anything about your running or anything? It's like, it's not one fix. So yeah, if it's go and see someone that knows what they're talking about. Yeah,
Paul Tierney would be the man, wouldn't he? If you're anywhere near the lakes.
Paul's good. Yeah, but good run specific physio usually. Yeah, it's not about to do with your trainers or all this kind of shit. It's just you wouldn't if your teeth are broken, you go to a dentist, don't you? It's and even I can help to a certain degree, but it's. Don't ask people on the internet, basically. Me included.
I mean, we've talked about a couple of the big races there that have happened recently, but I also pulled a few things that I'd seen on Instagram recently, just topical stories, let's say, within running that I thought we could just talk about.
I was going to ask if you heard anything. Have you heard anything recently? Any gossip?
I suppose the big thing, and it won't be like as popular right now when this comes out, because it will have happened 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I think we should probably, I know it's not trail running either, but we've got to talk about that Faith Kipyegon sub 4 minute mile attempt, breaking 4. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it. No, I didn't watch it. I watched some of the build up actually. It was just too busy. And it's one of those things with social media now. I saw the result and how it happened before I could watch any kind of replay. So.
Yeah, interesting. It was
interesting. It's she was miles off it, like, wasn't she?
Yeah, I was quite surprised how far off it she was. I don't really know what I thought. I thought in my head she'd probably have a good chance of breaking it, because why would she go for it otherwise? That's all I thought. I thought she's going to be close. Whether she misses out by a couple of seconds max, but in the end it was more like 6 or 7 seconds, which, don't get me wrong, is still phenomenal, isn't it? She's pushing the boundaries, and I think that was a PB as well. So she's closer than anybody before, but 6 or 7 seconds for over a mile is quite a lot, isn't it? Like, she's not going to break it anytime soon, is she? I don't think, unless something. Well, I did
sort of some of it. It's like from the get go, she wasn't running to that pace. So for the first lap, kind of thing. So they would have known that she's not going to break it, and then how far off it are you gonna be? I just usually these things are set up so that you can go and have another crack, but I just don't know why you'd go and have another crack. 6 seconds is too far at this point.
I think so. I think it's going to be a while.
Unless you get those things that you sent me, the robot legs.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about those in a moment, actually. I was thinking them, or what about running poles? Maybe she should have used running poles.
Well, these brands set these things up. Well, running poles would be one, but like just do these challenges downhill, because they're talking about science and stuff like this, but it's not really. It's like it's to sell a shoe usually, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Like the scientists behind it are always more interesting to me than the actual challenge. Like Andy Jones was part of it again, and I've chatted to him a few times just through Instagram. Funny enough, he's one of the guys behind Breaking 2 and was part of the team with Paula Radcliffe and stuff. So these guys are...
Are we talking about Andy Jones, Salford runner?
No,
different Andy Jones.
Professor Andy Jones.
Right, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think Andy Jones Salford's a professor. So he's Professor Andy Jones. He's like part of the coaching team for Paula Radcliffe, then part of the team for Breaking 2, and then this one as well. So... yeah, very clever and interesting guy. If you ever get to hear him talk about marathon running specifically, that's where I kind of steal a lot of knowledge from, to be honest. I'm sure he'd come on this because he's really interesting to listen to. But yeah, so for him to be involved, it did prick my ears a little bit. So I thought, but it's more this. I quite like hearing about the science behind it, how they've gone about making all these little gains and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously, if he's behind it and the team, there's credibility behind it. I'm sure he knew quite quickly you're not going to break 4 minutes for the mile, but it's like, okay, so how can we push the boundaries a bit more and a bit more?
Yeah.
I mean, as a scientist, I guess that's the job.
And at some point, we'll get there, without a doubt. I mean,
I'm
sure.
I haven't listened to it all yet, but I also listened to the Science of Sport podcast where they tried to break it down a little bit to what they'd have to do, and it was interesting because it's whether you take... will it come from an 800 metre runner stepping up, or would it, or like at the minute it's someone stepping down, to be honest, and she just hasn't got the leg speed.
No. It's a funny distance actually, isn't it? Because it's not a distance that you would ever race or see in the Olympics. 1500 is the closest, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was listening to some of the claims they were making behind like just having one pacer, as in for the wind resistance gave her this amount of time. It's like, that doesn't make sense because you just have 10 of them running in front of her and stuff. So don't get me wrong, impressive. She's obviously got paid a fair whack because she's written off half a season to do that, hasn't she? So,
definitely. I mean, I do like the fact as well that athletics just generally are trying to do more things that capture people's attention and making more of a showpiece of it, something a bit different. So I think if anything, it's a win for athletics in general, because I must admit, if it had been a normal track meet, I probably wouldn't have watched it. But I was in Chamonix at the time. I was just getting ready for my race out there, and I tuned in because it didn't take long to watch, and also I just thought I'd be interested in sort of watching it. So maybe it's got a few more people like into the sport, or like a few more eyes on the sport.
I think it's a few more eyes on the sport, but you got to remember, I think it's the whole point of it is to get more eyes on the brand and more eyes on the shoes, isn't it? So I think that's what Nike are good at. So it's from the 4% shoe that no one really took that seriously until it actually came to fruition, wasn't it? Yeah. So because we've heard these claims before. And I think they've used that same model to a certain extent. It's like, okay, all these other brands are catching up in marathon world, I think, in shoe-wise, aren't they? So let's try and... what's the next kind of thing we can put out there to get the eyes back on us?
Yeah.
If I'm in sceptical world... Not sceptical, that's just how it is, isn't it? So I think they do a great job of that. I don't know why more brands aren't doing it.
Like let's set up pushing the boundaries, aren't they?
Because it's obviously a big effort and a big athlete to get involved, but everyone's talking about it.
Definitely.
And they're talking about the shoe again and stuff like this mainly, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're talking
absolutely.
more about that than actually how they went about everything else, I think. So it's job done.
Yeah,
whether she broke it. And again, it's like boxers, isn't it? Like they want the trilogy fight. They don't want. They don't. If she'd have broken it the first time,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, it was the same with breaking too, wasn't it? And Kipchoge, like it didn't happen the first time round, but it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, was it?
I've plugged it before anyway, but the Science of Sport breaks it down quite well. It's a really interesting podcast. Yeah. It's a lot more detail than I can give you on that.
We went out and covered it, on our socials. I don't think we got right close to the track, but close enough to kind of get some good pictures and some good footage. And we put stuff out on our socials, and somebody had commented, she'd have probably gone a lot faster if all those people weren't getting in the way on the track. Those being the pacers,
that's the actual point.
Which did make me laugh. Yeah, I did like that one. That was quite funny.
Yeah.
I mean, just going back to that as a kind of a showpiece and a statement run, I quite liked it when like Karsten Warholm and Mondo Duplantis had that race as well. They raced the 100 metres, didn't they?
Yeah.
Just little things like that. I'm not saying that should take over normal athletics, but I quite like those kind of offshoots to the main track season or the main road season. Just gives something a little bit different to watch. I
just think, all those things are quite good, and like Michael Johnson's got his thing set up over. That's right. Like it's trying some stuff that's different, and even over here we've had it, haven't we? I remember watching Usain Bolt run 150 metres in Manchester. Yeah. Down in Deansgate, pissing down the track that they built years and years ago.
But you'd go and watch it, wouldn't you?
Oh, I skived the day off work to go and watch it.
Yeah, I can see why. Yeah.
So that shows how long ago that was, and it was. So I do like all those things, but ultimately I just hope that more eyes end up in the actual sport, because when you take the top of the top in whatever distance, and then you take one from an 800 metres and a 400 metres, or 200 and 100, that's a bad example, 4 and 8 or 8 and 15, it's always like it's just not the best. Yeah, I just love seeing things like the Diamond League, and you see the best of the best race each other. Yeah, so I hope more people end up watching that, and then the sport becomes sustainable. So like the best athletes in the UK get to go and do what they're doing and earn a good living from it, and we keep this sport going. To be honest, I'm not sure how much like little things like that play into that, because when it gets to Diamond League and these big meets and stuff, they're trying to. They take out the 10,000 metres, and then they'll take out the 5,000 metres, because they just think people's attention span is so low. Yeah. Whereas maybe there's just more effort on getting people involved. So I'm sad enough to sit there and watch a 29-minute 10K every lap. Yeah. To be honest, but I understand that not everyone is. But there's like UTMB and everything with split screens and stuff like this. Maybe, I don't know how it works, but. I still want to see that. I just like racing. I'm not even interested in times. I want to see the best of the best
going against each other. Yeah. And it's like that's what made South Downs the other week so special, isn't it? Getting the best of the UK in one place, racing against each other. And that's
good watching times, isn't it? Yeah. But it's always exciting watching
moving
a race.
The sport forward, isn't it?
Yeah, like the stuff that you do. That you enter a fell race, no one's really bothered about times. To be honest, obviously it's amazing when a course record goes or something, but it's just pure racing, isn't it? And,
it is.
And if you could film that every week and everything and package that up, it'd be more exciting than running fast times at the Diamond League.
Yeah, you're right.
If it's not competitive.
One of the other things you touched upon, and we'll talk about now. In terms of running aids, and I sort of threw poles as a funny mention in there, but I did see that there's a new invention out now, and I've known this has been coming for a while. I can't remember the name of the company, but it's essentially an exoskeleton suit, isn't it? So imagine like a climbing harness type thing, but it's actually a structure, a physical structure, and you sort of sit in the kind of legs, as it were, and it's supposed to help you and support you running, isn't it? And it's been designed for people that are like, I suppose, a lot older and perhaps have got a disability, and being able to get them more mobile out in the hills or
like an
electric
mountain bike, I guess.
It is exactly like that, isn't it? So I've seen a few people actually testing it. I saw a guy do a Strava segment on one the other day. I mean, Faith Kipyegon could have certainly broken that record, I think, if she'd have been wearing that, I'm sure.
Do you think?
I mean, it's supposed to.
I don't know how much power they've got.
It's supposed to give you 40% on the top battery. I mean, I'm actually thinking, Gary, of doing a Bob Graham and wearing it. What do you think to that?
Yeah, I reckon Bob Graham in those, but no poles. I think you'd be sound.
What about that? And what about that and pulls? I mean, what's the go? I mean, listen, things have moved on, haven't they, since Billy Bland did it? Like, I'm just embracing the new technology. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I go
think it's
for
stand.
it, mate.
Don't need a new record. We can't have another record, can we? As in, like, we can't have another category. So,
No,
is that something we're going to see more and more now?
If you could take down, imagine if the Bob Graham record went in a pair of those.
Yeah, that'd throw the cat amongst
It's just
pieces,
technology, mate, isn't it? It's just like a pair of boomerang insoles.
Exactly. These things have got to move on, haven't they? And just, I mean, things have changed. Yeah. So
there you go, Johnny.
Let's see. Let's see what everybody'd say if I wore them. To be honest, mate, I still won't break the record, so it doesn't matter if I wore them. But I think it's supposed to give you like 40% more energy.
I might look into it. I just need one below the knee on one leg. I wonder if I could have that.
Or a new Achilles for me.
Yeah. But it's not. When I saw it, I thought surely that's been done. But I think what I've seen in the past are those big bouncy things.
Yeah.
You know, like where people are bouncing around.
That's right.
Like
yeah.
this is more like helping. With knee drive and all that kind of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So it's closer to being like a go-go gadget leg, like Inspector Gadget, than anything else.
That's right.
I guess it comes from some of the stuff for the people who've had like spinal injuries. Because was it Christopher Reeves, that the Superman guy, that he was developing something like that when he was around, wasn't he? Which was like an exoskeleton that helps the muscles move and stuff.
Yeah, I think it is exactly that, Chris. Yeah, I mean, if you've
You'd
not,
be devastated if Superman nicked your Strava segments. You've been dethroned by Christopher Reeve.
I can see Gary making a fake account here. I mean, it might be worth reaching out to this company and getting one for us to test, I think, for this. It'd be cool, wouldn't it? I'd love to see it in action. I'd love to try it. I mean, I've seen it in action. I've seen a guy I think he did a 10K and improved his time by minutes. And I saw this guy do a Strava segment the other day on an uphill, and he absolutely flew up. It looked pretty crazy. It is like an electric e-bike, isn't it? So
yeah. It's an injury waiting to happen. I can't wait.
It'd be worth it for that crown on Strava, wouldn't it? I could go back and I could take
Imagine
so many
an extra
more
40% on your downhills.
That'd be incredible, wouldn't it? One of the issues with it,
some of these people that just tiptoe around and pussyfoot around at the top, maybe they should have them.
Yeah, maybe.
But wouldn't you just crash 40% faster?
Probably, Chris. That is also that. And I suppose the drawbacks, the Achilles heel of this, actually.
Nice word.
Yeah, you like that? I like how I brought that one in. Is the battery life as well. I think the guy who I'd seen doing the racing on the road had to change his battery a couple of times because he had it on full power as well. So you can change the settings.
He's done that on purpose to try and get a Garmin contract or something.
I think so, he has, hasn't he? Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. He could wear a solar panel on his back, couldn't he, maybe? Plug it in. I'm sure there's ways around it, but I'd love to give it a go. But yeah. And I know we always mention it, don't we, the Bob Graham, and trying to break the record on that using those legs. But recently, and he didn't use an exoskeleton for this, but the double Bob Graham record was broken. I'm really sorry for the person who's just broken it because I cannot remember his name. Really sorry, I don't know him. But he broke, thanks Chris, he's going to research it for me. He broke the double Bob Graham record. My mate Dougie Zinnis had it before. But there's been a little bit of controversy about that. I don't know if you've heard, Gary. Is that
that it just doesn't count? Because who cares about a double Bob Graham?
Well, my first question to you was, what do you think about a double Bob Graham? But I think you've just answered that. You think what's wrong with just a normal Bob Graham? Is my thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that as well.
I
mean, it does exist.
I'm quite miserable in the fact of like, even if it doesn't matter how fast you are. I just want to do my Bob Graham faster or the Paddy Buckley or whatever. Yeah, doing doubles screams to me like I can't go fast enough for it to be relevant.
Yeah, so they're never going to break the record of
and I'll
the
probably
BG,
get shot down for that now.
Well, I know it's going to split the camp.
The guy
here,
didn't even do two Bob Grahams. I know what you're going to say because I don't know who did it. I can't remember, but one of them wasn't 24 hours, right?
Well, that's the controversy. So
it's not a double Bob Graham.
Yeah, so a Bob Graham essentially is if you're going to do the Bob Graham, you've got to do it on under 24 hours. Yeah. And I think off the top of my head, he did the first Bob of his double in 19 hours something, and then the second one was 25 hours.
That's a great effort.
Yeah, it is. Let's just first of all put that there and say well done, because like anybody who does a double Bob is putting it out there, and it's an amazing achievement just getting around that distance and that climb. But I think my opinion, I'm sure you've just clarified that, Gary, is that if you are going to do a double Bob, you've got to do a sub 24 for each of the legs, haven't you?
If it's a Paddy Buckley doesn't have that time constraint, people want to try and do 24 hours, but there's no. And I know all these things are quite arbitrary because it's some guys made up the rules and whatever, but that's a tradition, right? So with the Paddy Buckley, there isn't that time constraint. So if it's outside 24 hours but you complete the course, you still recognise as done a Paddy Buckley. So if you do a double Paddy Buckley and it takes you 5 days, technically you've done a Paddy Buckley. In my eyes, if you set out to do a double Bob Graham, they should both be sub 24 hours. Either way, I'm not arsed, because it goes in the box with doing these made up FKTs that, I've just done my local FKT or whatever, and it's like, it's good. Yeah. But it's not a part of the sport that interests me that much, because what do you do now? Like, someone will just go and
do a 3.
I'm gonna do 4 Bob Grahams.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Have you seen seen something about Mary? It's that old school film in the 90s, which is one of my favourite films, and there's a guy who comes up with the idea of there's already, I think,
we've managed nearly an hour in, and we've not mentioned the toilet roll.
We have not,
and that's just reminded me.
We'll come on to that. We'll finish on the toilet roll. But there's a little scene in Something About Mary where the guy's got a new invention, and it's, instead of 7-minute abs, it's 6-minute abs. Have you seen that? If you've not seen it, Google it or watch the film. But that's his idea, because he's just coming up with something new, but it's not really new, is it? It's just doing something that already exists, but trying to either make it shorter or longer.
Yeah, I think the fact there's a complete lack of current news articles on this shows the interest in it, but I think I found it on Instagram. Caspian James.
That's the one.
Goes under Cason the Trails is the Instagram handle. So I think it's Caspian James.
Shout out for Caspian for running a 19-hour bob.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's which is a fucking good time.
Exactly.
No, I mean, respect to Caspian for doing a double bob, like, genuinely, because it does take a massive effort. But
it's a massive
new double Bob Graham round, 43 hours and 53 minutes.
Yeah, is that right?
That's what it's got on this Instagram post on 23rd of June.
I'm pretty sure that
it's a massive day out and a massive achievement. I'd rather put that into a race or something, so that the double thing's just not. It's who cares what I think? But I don't. I'm not bothered if you do a double or a triple or a quadruple. 2. If it's a Bob Graham, surely it has to both be under 24 hours. Otherwise, where do you get to? You'll end up having these Z-list celebrities I'm doing 10 Bob Grahams, but it takes them 100 days.
Yeah, Spencer Matthews might go for it, might he?
Yeah. Don't.
Let's change the subject because I'm going to get Gary going off on here. I mean, one of the other news stories that I picked up, just totally changing the subject now, Gary, and I don't know why I always think of you when I see these news stories. What about I'm using track as an example. I know it's a trail running podcast, but I'm going to mention it anyway because I'll bring it back to trail. What about the hurdler that finished the race and his tackle fell out, his knob fell out during the race? That made big news, didn't it? And I just thought of you instantly. I just thought, that's funny, I'll send it to Gary. But I think my question,
we both said, didn't we, that Gary is definitely going to have a story about it.
I thought I'm going to mention it, because me and Chris were saying Gary will have a story about that, whether his knob's fallen out during a race, or I know somebody whose knob's fallen out. Or what did you think of it? Did you see the news story anyway?
Yeah, I did see the news story. Yeah. I think I always like the. I saw montage ones of like pole vaulters that have took the bar off with their cock.
Yeah, was that the Olympics? I saw that.
Well, I've seen a few of them. Yeah, I think
that fella's not going to struggle to get a date again, is he?
I don't understand why in this day and age you're not in a full skin suit.
Yeah, I know.
On the pole vault, yeah.
That guy needed scaffolding, I think, on the pole vault, didn't he?
But yeah, taking the hurdle out with your tackle is a good effort, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's he wearing though? Because I mean, not that mine needs strapping in, but I'm wearing comfy balls. Like, I'm not saying he has to wear comfy balls, but there's no way on earth I'm falling out of my shorts. Like, not a chance. What do you wear when you race?
I just wear the shorts. I can't run. I don't like I don't like wearing
like a boxer type
and then shorts.
Hell, there's a good chance you're going to flap out then, isn't there? Yeah.
Well,
it must have happened to you.
I don't know. Well, you're never getting that leg lift, are you? Hopefully.
Have the boys ever left the barracks where you've been racing, or?
No. I'm trying to think back. There has been a time when I've fallen down Scree in a Snowdonia race. I remember looking down and the whole undercarriage all around the gooch had ripped off. Yeah. So like now I'm running and everyone behind me can probably see.
Just little Gary.
We are absolutely sorted for our Instagram reels.
No, they won't. They won't see
we?
little Gary. They'll just see a couple of little giblets floating about in front of like a turkey neck from me.
Sorry to anyone having their breakfast whilst listening to this podcast.
You know, like when you're walking down the road and you just see like a boxer dog, and you just see, you know, like some of these dogs, the only way you can tell which way round they are is because you see them. It'll be like that. Yeah, yeah, but never on purpose. But yeah. But what? saying that, I've been sent it a few times, and that I'll have to call him out on it. Tom Jolly with the old, he's been getting it out on his training runs.
Mate, what was Tom
and
thinking?
I've only named him because he's on a podcast saying it, and I think he'll take it all right. But yeah, if you ever got it out for you needed to relieve yourself on a run?
Never. I wouldn't even put the two things together. I mean, I
don't know how we've ended up with Tom Jolly having a wank behind a tree.
Tom did say it so casually that it happens to everybody, but I'll be honest, it's never even crossed my mind.
No, maybe on a bumpy motorway, but not on a...
But I mean, I don't run ultras, but I mean... I don't run ultras, but that thing has never crossed my mind about tying the two together. If I'm racing or running, I'm just running. I mean, I might listen to a podcast or
Tom's got some adrenaline pumping through his training runs. That's the way to go. But no, not
certainly a controversial statement he made on that podcast, wasn't it?
I think it's controversial. I question myself. Like I've never got the horn while I've been in a training run, but I usually it's like going.
Depends what you're into, I suppose.
Usually it's like. If I have to go for a piss behind a tree, it's like I've been in Creamfields for 3 days. It's not the other way around me.
No.
I've got festival dick.
That's true. As I call it, PRP, post-race penis. Okay, now we've lowered this. Mum, please stop listening to this podcast. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You finish an ultra, it's like you've been on the Mitsubishi Turbos, not the other way around, mate. Yeah.
Just going back to the whole, like, have the boys ever popped out of the barracks question. I did do a race. This is not me, by the way, who did. It was about 15 years ago, and a good friend of mine was running, and he did really well in the race, top 10. And you know when you've got the photographer at the end of the race just taking pictures of everybody coming in, and he'll just upload in bulk, like hundreds of runners.
Yeah.
So he'd uploaded all his pictures, and my mate had literally fallen out of his shorts. I mean, he obviously didn't wear comfy balls. He just had the lining, and he'd gone through the lining. And yeah, it was all over the internet until the photographer took it down, but pretty much the whole of the fell running community saw it. I'm not even going to name and shame him because he's a good mate of mine, but it was funny. And he'd take it well, to be fair. I mean, I tried to buy the pictures as quickly as I could, but they'd already been taken down.
There's lots of old photos. We've got to, an hour and 5 minutes without mentioning football, but I always like in the 90s, there's always photos of footballers with their cocks out on the pitch because they've been pulling and pushing and stuff. Yeah.
That's true. You don't see those no,
it doesn't happen
anymore.
Well, nobody tackles each other.
Oh, nice, Gary. Nice.
Nobody tackles each other anymore, though, do they? So you don't get that pushing and pulling.
That's true.
Pushing, not the pulling.
We've
gone way off now.
We've got so many Instagram reels here, Chris. You're going to struggle to choose one, aren't you? I mean, just a final thought on the fell running, because that was my favourite fell running picture.
And the tissues, by the way, it's because I've got a cold. Let's just
nothing
that.
to do with what we've been talking about. Yeah, I thought you were going to give that.
Before we started, I better move that out of shot.
Was that not for Tom Jolly? Were you going to post him that for his long runs?
That's the giveaway. It's a Tom Jolly signed bog roll.
Just for those moments when you might need it on an ultra run. But my other favourite fell running picture, it wasn't my friend whose tackle had fallen out. That is up in number 2 though. But it was of a guy called Jim Davis. Now anybody who is familiar with fell running, who's been in the fell running scene, Jim Davis runs for Borrowdale, one of the legends of the sport. He's been running for the last few decades. And before soft flasks, we used to have inventive ways of carrying water or being able to like take water on board during a fell race. So I used to use the old Lucasade pouches, those foil pouches. That was my thing. But Jim came up with this like really cool idea of carrying just a plastic sandwich bag. And the idea being that it didn't weigh anything, and when he got to a stream, it just filled the sandwich bag up, and then he'd just like pour a bit into his mouth. What a great idea. I mean, Jim basically invented the soft flask before it was a soft flask. But he once did it and scooped some water up, and he was just holding the bag with the water in, and somebody took a picture of him mid-race and photoshopped a goldfish in the bag.
It looked like
it was one of the best pictures I've ever seen. In fact, I don't know if anybody can find that picture or send it to me, but it was amazing. I mean, obviously it had been photoshopped, but it was a classic. That's my favourite fell running picture. That, and then my other mate whose cock was falling out during the race. So yeah, nice way to finish, I suppose.
Yeah.
We should probably wrap this up, shouldn't we?
Before we wrap, a little bit from me. Sorry, this is the boring bit, but from producer
Talking
Chris.
to wankers.
Thanks, Gary. If you're listening on podcasts on Apple, thanks for getting an hour into this episode, but we really appreciate a 5-star review. If you're on Spotify, it gives you the opportunity to put a comment, so pop those on. We try and get back to them. If you're on YouTube, please leave us a comment below. And finally, we are going to be opening up sponsorship for the podcast in the next few weeks, or discussions. So our contact details are in the episode's notes. Get in touch if that's something you're thinking of doing, either the full sponsorship or episode sponsors or whatever. We'd like to talk to you.
Thanks, Chris. You got that important stuff in for us there.
Next time, Chris, we should do that at the beginning, like not after the cock and balls chat. So
but I kind of think that anybody that's got an hour and a half into an episode probably likes us.
They're invested.
True.
I'm hoping my mum's not one of those people. I'm sorry, Mum. Just do 45 minutes today. In fact, I'm going to text you.
Sorry, Mrs. Mounsey.
Miss the last 15 off, please. And if you don't, I'm very sorry. I know you're disappointed in me, but
he's not sorry.
I'm sorry.
Not sorry. You should see his WhatsApp group.
Quick cut. And on that note, we'll see you next Tuesday. Let's end this quick.
Cut on the cameras.
That spiraled out of control, didn't it? Pretty fast, but funny.
I think the Lemsic kicked in at the end. Double dropped on the Lemsic.
Brilliant. Oh yeah, good episode, guys. Well done.
Was that what we planned?
I might try and edit this one tonight.
Oh, and get this out.
Get it out tomorrow, and then push the Tom one back. The Tom one's all online, ready to go. We've just got to check some of the stuff. But if I can get this one done tonight,
it should be easy
when
enough,
I get
shouldn't
it?
Amazing. Yeah.
And then it'll be more current, won't it?
Definitely.
I've made a load of notes in the group. If you can, I'll put a thing if you can just
tidy
up
tonight.
some of the names and stuff.
100%.
We could probably get that out tomorrow.
Oh, nice one.